Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we're taking a look at 5 of the best upcoming MMORPGs that we know about right now. As always, this is a personal list of my own and in no specific order here, but in my opinion, these are 5 of the best upcoming MMOs out there that I'm most excited for. Let's get right into it. Starting off at number 1 is Ashes of Creation. This upcoming MMORPG has a ton of hype surrounding it due to its unique features and many aspects of its core game design. The game features a fully player-driven economy, player housing, and a storyline that adapts to player choices, as well as a massive open world with real-time action combat and a big focus on PvP. It includes a player-driven, non-faction-based political system where players can form guilds, control cities and territories, and engage in diplomacy and warfare with other players, and even a player-driven NPC system that allows players to create and customize NPCs that can be used to run shops, offer quests, and populate cities. The game features a unique server architecture that allows for a large number of players to interact in the same world without the need for instancing, and so you'll be able to have thousands of players running around in an adaptive open world environment with different biomes, weather patterns, and day and night cycles. There'll even be different seasons that will affect the look and feel of the world, as well as the resources that you'll be able to gather and a whole lot more. Players will be able to craft and trade items and even create and run their own businesses, and there will be meaningful open world PvP with a criminal system in place, and the developers want to implement many of the features players really liked from games like Arcade. There's an elaborate node system in place, and there will be a ton of content for the game, including dungeons, raids, PvP sieges, guild wars, a caravan system, and even naval PvP in the open sea. It's gonna be a big game, and there's no release date for Ashes of Creation yet, but it is likely to be released sometime in the next 2 to 3 years, and if you pay for a Founders Pack on their website, you'll be able to play earlier than that during one of their alpha or beta tests. The upcoming Alpha 2 is likely going to begin this year and will be fully persistent with a lot of the game's fundamental systems in place, so if you want to play the game as early as possible, even though it will still be a very early access version, you'll be able to do that soon, but it will be pretty expensive, at $250 for a Voyager pre-order pack. That will give you access to Alpha 2 as well as 6 months of game time for when the game releases, because it will have a subscription and some other cosmetic stuff. It's really expensive, but if you want to play the game as early as possible and also be able to make content for it without needing to worry about any kind of NDA, that's the pack you'll need to buy. The second MMO on our list is Thrones and Liberty. This upcoming MMO is being developed by NCSoft, the publishers behind Guild Wars 2, Aeon, Wildstar, and the Lineage franchise, and is set to be one of the biggest full releases this year. We don't have a huge amount of info on this game yet, even now, but it is meant to come out in the first half of 2023, and features a massive open world with a dynamic weather system that can trigger events and even change its landscape. It will have seamless open world dungeons with multiple different floors and entrances, along with a class-free system where you can pick a combat role by using 2 weapons of your choice, just like in New World. It will have safe zones and regional events with opt-in PvP, and guilds will be able to fight for control of possession stones that will give them some kind of enhanced capability. Again, we don't have a whole lot of info to go on here right now, but there will be PvP rewards of some kind, including ranks that players can move up in, and players will be able to transform into different creatures, including wolves and birds, enabling them to travel more easily. The game will feature many different world bosses that players will work together to defeat, and the server capacity seems to be around 3,000 to 5,000 players per server. Thrones and Liberty seems to be pretty different to most other MMOs that we know about, and we won't know how good or bad it might end up being until release, but it's definitely going to be one of the biggest new MMORPGs to check out this year and could end up being pretty great. The third MMORPG on our list is Arcade 2. This is a full-blown AAA budget sequel to the original Arcade, and is definitely one of the most exciting MMOs in development because of that. The original Arcade was a brilliant game in many ways and one of the best MMOs that I've ever played, and I know it was for many others too. It had a great soundtrack and beautiful world and a ton of well thought out innovative systems at that time in place, along with truly meaningful open world PvP and a whole lot more. Based on this alone, along with some copium, Arcade 2 will likely be one of the best upcoming MMORPGs. It will be an open world sandbox with a player-driven economy where players can craft and trade their own goods, as well as build and design their own cities, farms, and ships. Like Ashes of Creation, it will also feature a player-driven political system where players can form guilds, control territories, and engage in diplomacy and warfare with other players, as well as open world PvP with a criminal system in place. It will have a skill-based combat system along with a diverse set of races and classes and a unique shipbuilding and naval combat system that will allow players to create and customize their own ships and take part in large-scale naval battles. Aside from all this, being a sequel to the original ArcAge, it will feature a new and improved graphics engine being Unreal Engine 5 to provide better visuals and more detailed environments, along with a new and improved housing system where players will be able to build and design their own homes and structures and much more. Compared to the first game, there will also be a new and improved crafting system, mount and transportation system, skill system, and more. The developers have stated that they want the world to be even more immersive and dynamic than ever before, with a greater emphasis on player choice and player-driven story, and that over 100 developers are working on the game. ArcAge 2 doesn't have an official release date yet, but it is expected to be released in 2024 for PC as well as Xbox and PlayStation, and it's definitely one of the most anticipated upcoming MMORPGs around. Moving on to number 4, we have the Riot Games MMO. This upcoming MMORPG is set in the League of Legends universe and will definitely be one of the biggest releases of the decade. For anyone who might not know, Riot Games is the developer of League of Legends as well as Valorant, which both have a massive player base and strong esports scene. Riot Games has a reputation for creating really high quality games with deep and immersive gameplay, as well as one of the best animated production teams in the world. Just have a look at any of the Valorant or League of Legends trailers on YouTube and you'll see what I mean. They clearly have some of the most talented people around working there, and they know how to market their games incredibly well. Not a whole lot is known about the upcoming Riot Games MMO, as it is still in development, but Riot Games has stated that players will be able to explore and interact with each other in a shared open world, and that there will be a deep and immersive story, as well as a wide range of player choices that affect the world and the characters in it. We also know that the game will feature a non-target combat system, a high fantasy setting being that it's set within the League of Legends universe, and that it will be built using Unreal Engine 5. Even though we don't have a lot to go on for this upcoming MMO, because it's being developed by Riot Games and is set within the League of Legends universe, it'll definitely be huge and will probably be really good, but it's good to keep in mind that we're all really just hoping and guessing here. Until we see some gameplay and learn more about the game, we really don't have anything to base our expectations on apart from the huge success that Riot Games has had so far. But even Blizzard was once the king, and look at what happened there. I personally think that it will be a great MMO, but just like anyone else, I don't really have a lot to base that off of, and everyone is just hoping that it will be as good as what we're all expecting. There's no release date for this upcoming MMO yet, but it will likely be released in 2025 or 2026, if not later. And last but not least, we're on to number 5, Dune Awakening. This upcoming MMORPG is being developed by Funcom and will be set in the Dune universe, which has a pretty big fanbase and is set in the distant future. It will feature a large, seamless world shared by thousands of players, and the developers have said that it combines the grit and creativity of survival games with the social interactivity of a large, persistent multiplayer game to create a unique and ambitious open-world survival MMO. The world is pretty much a big desert, and so there will be a lot of sand as far as you can see when you're not in a town, but there will probably be more than that. And what we do know is that you'll be able to explore deep canyons with caves as well as ancient underground labs and more. There will also be villages with other players and NPCs that you can visit aside from the lawless and ever-changing deep desert, where bandit players and maybe even NPCs will be. There will be an ever-changing world due to regular storms that will uncover new land and mix things up, and water will be a valuable resource that you'll need to find to survive. You'll be able to create your own base anywhere out in the open world using materials that you find, and there will also be melee and ranged combat with guns as well as abilities that you can learn. In terms of combat, the developers say that there will be deadly ambushes as well as massive organic battles that take place, and there will be both land and air vehicles that you'll be able to use as well. You'll also be able to create a guild and gather valuable materials including spice, which is one of the most valuable materials in the Dune universe, and then sell that to others or consume it to become more powerful. It looks like Dune Awakening will be a pretty massive game, and Funcom, the developers behind it, have a pretty good track record of developing high quality games including Age of Conan, Conan Exiles, The Secret World, and more. This may be their biggest project yet, and with all the experience that they've built up over the years, along with the great IP here, this could end up being pretty amazing. We'll have to wait and see, and there's still a lot that we don't know, but this does look like it could turn out to be one of the best upcoming MMORPGs. No release date has been announced for this upcoming MMO, but it will likely go into early access on Steam in 2023 or 2024 and be fully released 1 or 2 years after that. Well, that's it for this video guys, but I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions, and let me know what you think of these upcoming MMOs in the comments below. Leave a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.